Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Yvonne from GingerChickRehab. I am so glad to have you back checking out what Chris and I are up to. And it's really bright, almost even when it's cloudy, it's bright on my eyes. So, you know, light colored eyes were really sensitive to the sun. But in today's video, we are still working on some outside things that we wanted to share with you all, along with showing you the process of how we are working on repainting our outdoor furniture. That definitely is one of the things here on the channel I do get a lot of questions about, because I paint metal. I had a lot of questions about painting outdoor furniture, and this is the perfect opportunity to share the process with you all, and also share how we are working on our land to make new gardens and what we do to go about taking care of them, and just sharing with you all what we do here at our home. So you know those projects in your head, you think, okay, it's wintertime, we need to repaint our outdoor furniture, let's just take it into the shop during winter so we'll have it done and ready for the spring and summer season. And in theory, it always sounds really good. So we live in Michigan, so we get weather. So yep, weather is very hard on outdoor furniture, and you could buy new, you know, if you wanted to, but, you know, being one of those type of people, we just always see the potential of the good bones and think, okay, we can tackle this rust. Now, for quite a few years, I have just taken to cleaning it and just using a spray can of spray paint. And yes, yep, it just is farther behind than that now. It definitely needs a little bit more work than just me cleaning and touching up areas. This is where our theory kind of went wrong. So not what Chris is doing right now by taking a sander and sanding off all the chippy paint, getting back down to the metal, making sure that everything's clean. The theory is that you have to bring it into your shop. You have to let it defrost. You have to, yeah, so he did that with a couple pieces. They turned out wonderful, but yeah, that was just too much work. We use our shop, we flip items, furniture. That just was not possible. So just had to wait until the spring to finish the rest of the pieces. So here's the story of how Chris took all this time to refinish. Now we're not completely done yet, so this is just a partial video. But hey, let's get started with some of these pieces and show you how he sanded them, what paint he used to repaint them. And then at least we have a few pieces here and there. You know, we live in our houses, we work, we have other projects we have to do. So sometimes you just take a day and work on one project, and then you'll come back and do the rest. So to make these chairs still be as pretty as they are, he's taking off the emblem that is screwed on the little, I think it's Hampton Bay. I bought this set at Home Depot, I don't even know, 15 years ago. That's always my guesstimate. I am not one of those people that knows years. Are you one of those people? I know that people would tell me, oh, back in 93 on a Tuesday at 7 o'clock I purchased. I am not one of those people. I guess I was busy with the kids and their interest that, you know, you needed some furniture, you bought it, and then you went on with your life. I don't know. Are you one of those people that can remember the years of when you purchased stuff? I wish I was. So realizing these really needed to be done outside, they're just too big, too many pieces, needed cleaned off really well. So the first 70-degree day, Chris started bright and early in the morning working on these pieces. So yeah, so getting the envelopes taken off, getting cobwebs, dust free, and now he's going in and there's some chippiness that I kind of just did a little bit when I would refinish them myself just by touching up the spray, where some of the metal had chipped off. And these are aluminum, so these don't rust. So it was definitely well worth my investment. They have held up to the test of time. They clean really well. Yep, I've touched them up with just the Rust-Oleum regular paint, but I know more now than I did then, kind of thing. So yep, he's just taking the sanding tool on a drill and then chipping off the rest of that paint, trying to get it as smooth as he can. this is what it does. This set does not rust, but it starts to peel. And it's only really doing it at the feet, at the little top of the backs. Not even where you rest your arms, but just that little chippiness showing that metal definitely is not a distressing I would like on my outdoor furniture. So, yep, just chipping it away, trying to get it nice and smooth to have a fresh set. And then I am glad that I did not watch him carry the piece of glass to this table by himself into our house. I would have been really nervous. I'm always really nervous about, because we actually had to replace that glass once. When we first bought the set, I do remember that I thought that we should bring the glass in and out every season. So the second year into the season, we have a closet underneath our stairs, and we used to hold it in there, and there was just one nail or something that stuck out and just shattered the whole glass top of this table. Oh my goodness, what a sickening feeling. But the glass was tempered glass, like what your windshield would be. So it just shattered in all those little bitty pieces. I tell you, years later, I was still vacuuming up pieces. But we did replace the glass for $200 because the set was well worth it. But yeah, what a sickening feeling. So now we do not remove the glass, we just leave it there. Now this one is going to be a lot more work. I wanted a table in front of the swing that we had, and it was really hard, and I liked it. I wanted it to match, so this was cost efficient, I felt. I ordered it off Amazon, and I swear the second day it came, it started to do this rust. So, yep, same thing. I had touched it up myself, and then finally last year just gave up, going, we really need to figure out how to tackle this, because a little bit of rusty, crusty goes a long way. But if you have friends over, you're setting plates and drinks down, I don't know if that's necessarily where I want to set my plates and drinks down. And as you see, almost all the original paint has chipped off. So, yep. He just, plain and simple, that rust is kind of like a barrier. It needs to come off because the paint just will not adhere well to the rust. It'll just keep popping whatever paint you put on off. I'm going to say he did a really good job with it being a basket weave. The metal's basket weaved. There's areas that are just, we are not that kind of refinishers of metal, especially. So get it as best as you can, get it all cleaned off, and you'll just have to call it good that, yes, it's now going to be ready to paint. So to clean the pieces off, he's just using some crud cutter, the deglosser in the hot water, and then making sure that they are completely dry before moving on. But it was one of the first 70-degree days here in Michigan, and oh, what a beautiful day. Now, to paint these pieces, we actually stumbled across this farm implement paint that we purchased at Menards. Now, we have actually found that there was a few other pieces that I've done with this paint. Absolutely love it. And so when we stumbled across this, that's where we got the idea of redoing our patio furniture with this type of paint. Definitely felt that it was going to adhere and not just last one season like my Rust-Oleum spray paint that I was just doing out of the can, but then I never got the rust off like he did, and I never seal it in with anything. But you know, you just want to keep using your furniture and make it look pretty. So yeah, so you can actually buy this in the gallon can, so it's definitely more cost efficient. I think it was like $36 for the gallon here in Michigan at my local Menards. So yes, oh my goodness. So, and you don't need to prime, you don't need to top coat it. This is what it is. Now it's a little bit more glossy, but that is okay. So I know that when you're editing for you all, it looks like, oh gosh, that was such a fast job. No, it wasn't. It took him all day to do this. So he started probably about 8 in the morning, probably about 4:30. He finally finished up. So not actually too terribly bad. But now I get I'm going to go ahead and clean this glass really well before putting it back on the table, because this is that little edging that's always there underneath the table that you can't get into. And since we are surrounded by lakes, algae just loves us. So it's kind of nice to actually get it as pretty as he's made it with a new paint job, that I can get this glass all spiffed up. I'm pretty sure I have the easiest of jobs using my Norwex cloths to clean this glass. Every few years, it seems like I always need to buy a new outdoor rug, even though we clean it and then we try to store it for the winter. They just don't hold up. You just always have to purchase a new one. So this winter, we didn't even do anything with it but leave it right where it was, because starting this thrifting adventure, I ran across a Target return new purchase good at my local Goodwill and was able to thrift a brand new outdoor rug. So I know that I snagged this right up the day that I saw this for $29.99 in a 9x12 rug. Yes, you're coming home with me. Though we kind of have a mismatch of, I couldn't really unroll it in the store. I saw gray, black, white. Yep, perfect. Even though a lot of my outdoor canopies are the tan color, because that's what goes with the set. But I'm happy to change out this dreary rug. And I will give Chris credit. He just rolled the rug right up. This was a Sunday. They come and get our garbage on a Monday. How we got that thing folded up to fit into our Herbie for the garbage man, I thought we were going to have to take it to our local dump, but he did quite well. Yes, it is the same day that, because it was a 70-degree day, that paint dried wonderfully, really fast. And so he's able to move the pieces that he did get done in one day back onto our patio. It was nice to be able to do them outside and use the sprayer. That way you didn't make the huge mess. It was just going to take a lot of room to do this table and those chairs, and there's just not enough work. Our shop is not that big. And yes, and then when it came to the sprayer, it was one of those you wanted to be able to clean the sprayer out in the same day. I didn't know what that type of paint would do to the Graco True Coat sprayer, and we really love that thing, so we baby it. We make sure that we take that paint out after every time we use it. When I'm doing multiple thrift flips for you all, I do, over a couple days, have the same kind of paint in, but I just knew that this was a stronger paint, that we did not want it seizing up the system by any means. And though the tassels are a cute little feature on this rug, all I could envision is all the whatnot that was going to get caught up. If you saw our spring clean outdoors, you saw how many leaves we get. So even though I think they're cute, yep, I'm just going to cut them off and not have to worry about them. They weren't going to stay straight. They were going to fall under, and that would have drove me a little bit crazy, but I do like it a lot better. It's much cleaner look, in my personal opinion, getting those tassels off. While he was working on the outdoor furniture, I was going to deal with this little section of our patio area. So we had put up a fence. We had to remove a retaining wall. The retaining wall used to wrap around to this edge, so that used to have garden in it. And if you're wondering what that box is, we fight chipmunks that actually can get into the walls of our house. So I'm sorry. Yep, our exterminator has boxes along with spraying for bees and wasps. Not bees, not honeybees, but wasps. We have a terrible problem with bees, and yeah, so I finally bit the bullet last year and paid an exterminator to help us with the problem after being attacked by ground hornets when I was gardening, and then hearing chipmunks in your walls. Yes, it's well worth the $50 a month during the summertime. So now I just need to clean off this area. So the black underneath there was like the water barrier that they put on the cement of your house when it goes into the ground. So I need to get this all nice and cleaned up first before I can touch up paint. And as you see, it's not just touch up paint, but I have to match my faux brick pattern that I did years ago. But I like my faux brick pattern instead of just looking at the cement blocks. I just have a hot bucket of water, some Dawn dish soap, and I'm trying to get all where the ground got rained on. There's a gutter on the other side. As you see, that black pipe coming down is where we reroute the gutter to go on the other side, so water would hit coming off our roof. So I got all that dirt. Even though I tried to get it off, I need to prep the surface just like anything else, because the paint is not going to adhere very well over all that dirt. I feel like I'm answering questions before they're even asked. Yes, the gray box with the gray cord coming down underneath our hose is the 220 outlet electrical box for the hot tub. There you go. I'm just going to answer it before I get in the comment areas. Back in the day when I painted this original faux brick on the brick, I actually matched up what was coordinating with our siding, which is more of an off-white. I'd love it to be white, but it's off-white. So I coordinated that, painted the whole thing, rolled it on, and then waited for that to dry, and then taped off, matched up the pattern of a brick. We had some problems when they were building our house. They didn't build our basement tall enough, so they ended up having to put bricks at the top, and that's a whole nother story. So anyway, or Chris would never fit into our basement. So then I ended up matching up that pattern of the bricks on the top 2 layers, and then working my way down, just taping it off. So now I'm just going to have to try to complete that pattern in this little bitty area here. My first line, I don't know what I was doing with the cream paint. I'm like, no, they have to stagger. Whoops, that'll happen. So now I'm just taking a brush. I wasn't going to mess with the roller and having to clean up a roller for this small of paint area. So I'm just matching up where I think my lines are going to go, getting the general area, and then just painting on that off-white color. Pretty sure when I did this project, I actually used the Blues Painter's tape, but I don't use any of that usually. I just use the Dollar Tree masking tape. So I did have a problem with my masking tape sticking. When you're in a project, you just want to get it done. I definitely did not want to take the time to run to the store just to get a roll of blue tape for such a little area. So I did struggle keeping my tape on, but I can fake it and clean up any areas that I need to. So I'm just trying to, before I was all precise, I had a level, I was making sure everything was good. I'm just kind of eyeballing this little area. It's tucked in a corner. It's not a very comfortable area to be sitting in and painting to begin with. So the cream color is an exterior paint, not made for cement, but this gray is made for cement. So I can tell the difference between the two. The gray has always stayed on. The cream has kind of chipped off, but I kind of like that because it goes with our patio's not pristine. I don't want to spend the money to lift up the pavers that we had years ago when we built 23 years ago, because that's not cheap to redo a patio. So not having everything be perfect with my galvanized and my barn wood, even though, yes, we needed to get the rusty crusty off our outdoor furniture, it kind of all coordinates. But I'm just going to brush it on, going away from my tape using a dry brush because my tape really isn't stuck very well. So long as I get one coat on, kind of seal that edge in and let that dry, I should be good to go. looks like a hot mess, but it's one of those things you always have to trust the process, and I know that I have to put multiple coats on. But after 2 coats, now I can remove the tape. And here's my cheater method to make this crisp new paint job look as aged as the other one. Yes, I'm just rubbing stain on the exterior paint, and it will blend in a little bit better and won't be so bright compared to the stuff that has aged. I actually have touched up the bottom before, and we have another little retaining wall on the other side of our garden that I have done this to before, and it has worked out perfectly. So now I hope that you all are enjoying our video of us working, having a weekend of working. So yes, here on our channel, I know we started off as DIYs and making things over for you all, but there's also a lot of things we do at our home that I am happy to share with those who'd like to watch. And we both love to be outside. We love to appreciate our lawn, and having the new fence put in last year, we actually videoed of us prepping our lawn to get prepared for the fence. We had to take down an above ground pool, so I should link that so you can see the process of our yard changing. So now earlier this day, Chris actually ran his lawn tractor around to see what edges were hard to hit with the lawn tractor. So that way is how we determine how we run our gardens. That just makes it easier for him to just get on the lawn tractor, do a little bit of edging if need be, but so this is how we determine where gardens are going to be. I've had this little outhouse forever. I won it at a scrapbooking event and a silent auction, and now he's putting in 2 bird houses that I had in a retaining wall garden that we had to take down when we put the fence up. And they looked much taller in the retaining wall garden, but for right now, he's not going to change out the post. We're just going to put them where we need them to be as of right now, because the grass is growing and we need to start getting rid of the grass and building some gardens before it overtakes the whole area. Have any bird watchers out there? We had this mama or daddy robin that was determined to make a nest in here, and there was not enough space. So all that was all those little dried weeds that he kept whichever kept bringing in, trying to build that nest. Nope, it did not work. It was not. Oh, those robins are so funny sometimes. Yeah, it's a little bit on the short side, the birdhouse, but you know, for right now, it's good enough. So now we need to move some rocks, some more fieldstone up on the other side of the fence to make some new garden areas. It's just a nice edging. We already have it. They're free. We don't have to pay for it other than our time and energy and the work. So this used to be huge gardens back here that I had along the split rail fence. You can tell where all the daffodils had popped up. We have a few little of these plants that need to come down. We need to move some of these rocks back. Are you just tired hearing about this? So you can see how many gardens we had with all these daffodils. But this was always a strange area. When I planted it, it was fine. But then being surrounded by lakes, you have either to work on it after the frost or before the mosquitoes come out, and then you have no choice and have to leave those gardens alone. But yep, so we decided to get rid of that because we just enjoy what was inside the fence. So yes, that's how far the gardens used to come out. I still like the barrier of the rocks underneath. Got a little bit more clean out to do, just some simple so Chris can mow. Not going to worry about this back area. Eventually grass will grow in. But yes, we have been working the last 2 years very hard on our property. That's why I feel the need to share it with y'all. So now this tree is on the other side of the fence. So we're going to be reusing those rocks. This is the tree that got taken down in the tornado that hit our area last year. As you see, whipping willows start to grow. So I'm removing those rocks while Chris is removing those rocks. That way you don't have to worry about any of the rocks and doing any weed control around there. And so, yep, we're just going to go ahead and start moving rocks in the shape that's easy for him to mow around. And I know everybody's probably thinking, where's your black paper for the grass? But I find that all that happens with that black paper is dirt just piles on top of it and you still get weeds anyway. So as long as I put all my rocks on there, I put weed preventer, weed be gone on the grass afterwards, and the sun doesn't shine underneath there. It kills off that grass and I can control it a lot better. And then for those of you who watched our video 2 weeks ago of putting the mole control down, do you remember how many mole little paths were in our yard? Yep. This is the day that I need to lay some more, which is perfect because it's supposed to rain later this afternoon. And yes, it works. So 2 weeks later, you need to get the new grouping that's hatched. And then, yes, yep, bye-bye. No more mole worries about there. But yep, so little by little, we're moving the rocks on top. See how we're just going to cover up that entire grass without any sun hitting the grass. It will die off, and then I still put weed preventer on top of it. Yeah, so it does work. We were thought about doing the morning glories over there, but I think that's a weird little corner, and it's really a edging where that comes off the neighbor's yard that's kind of really wet. But yep, little by little, just moving these rocks one by one, and yep, we'll fill it tomorrow, trust me. If you don't believe me about that barrier paper, oh my gosh, this is what happens to it. Doesn't matter. It disintegrates. Dirt piles up from the rain. And yeah, when we removed those back gardens, I had that black paper all over it, and it's just been a nightmare trying to get it up to have grass regrow. We did think about having somebody come and stump remove this weeping willow, but once it started to regrow, decided to keep it. I like it. It is a messy tree. I will agree there, but this gets such a swampy area back here. It's just nice to have something absorbing up the water. So, yep, little by little, the 2 weeks ago you saw me moving heavy boulders. Now it is Chris's turn to move heavy boulders. Well, he has a lot farther walk than I do. It's amazing that some rocks are light, some rocks are heavy. You can't judge it until you try to pick it up. We actually had to make a trip into our local Home Depot. We've been trying to get peat moss because where our above ground pool was, there was a lot of sand and we have topsoil. And so we think the peat moss will help the grass grow. And then even though I can't smell, Chris smelled all these Thythia, I am so bad with saying of words. These beautiful bulbs were just smelling wonderful, he said. So I'm like, well, I'll buy some because I love to have, in my gardens, I like to have something blooming at all times. And these are one of the early bloomers. So, yep, just trying to be careful with the roots, trying not to break off the flower they have a nice size bulb. Yes, for about $12, I got 5 bulbs, and I always pick the ones that aren't quite open yet so I can enjoy them a little bit longer. Right above my head is our magnolia tree. Oh, it is just ready to start popping. It's a funny little tree because it will bud all year long. I don't know why. I am not a master gardener by any means. I just know what I like. So I can't wait to see all those blooms. So yep, I've got all 5 bulbs planted now, and you can see my hostas are coming up. I have some poppies in here. And the hard thing before Memorial Weekend, when stuff like this starts happening and it gets too warm, here in Michigan, the frost will burn the hostas. So I have to really pay attention to my weather to know if I need to cover them up at night to make sure they don't get frosted and burnt. So I hope you enjoyed today's video as much as I have to say the working part isn't always as fun as sitting back, relaxing in the hot tub and enjoying your work. But I was happy to share it with you all, and me and Chris and I enjoy gardening and just enjoying looking at the flowers and looking at the green grass. And so yep, unfortunately there is maintenance that has to be done to be able to enjoy what you have done. So I hope I've inspired you in any way, even if you were just watching and happy to watch us work, or if I inspired you to do anything on your own property, in a garden, or just use what you have like we try to do. Yes, it could be very costly when it comes to maintaining gardens and maintaining a lawn, but I hope here on the channel I will share with you the simplicity of it all and how to do it on a budget. So again, thank you for watching today's video, and as always, give me a quick comment. What did you think? And I know the gardening's a whole new thing to most of my viewers out there, so thanks for watching today's video, guys, and as always, thanks to you for being part of our YouTube family. And if you're new and you're checking out this content for the first time and you liked what you saw, please hit that subscription button along with the notification bell so you know when we've uploaded a new video, and we will see you next time, guys, and you can see what we're up to. Bye. All I want